Level 1. The child. You are 8 years old. You own 2 toys. One is a wooden truck. One is a marble that somehow survived last Christmas. And you also own a gas mask. It's not a toy. Adults call it protection. You call it ugly. School still exists, but only kinda. Math in the morning, air raid drill before lunch, and sometimes the teacher just stops mid-sentence because someone yells, "Air raid!" Then the whole class lines up. Not calmly, not quietly, but in a way that says, "We've done this before, and we will do it again." You march to the nearest shelter. You hold your tiny gas mask case like a weird, awkward trophy. Underground, the smell hits first. Damp stone, coal dust, old boots, and suspicious candy wrappers left by previous kids. Adults try to look calm. Children don't buy it, because adults only get that quiet when something serious is happening. You quickly learn the sounds of war. Thunder is thunder. Bombers sound like angry metal birds. And if your father suddenly goes quiet, listen close. That tells you more than words ever could. Food is confusing. Sugar is gone. Bananas disappears so completely that some kids grow up thinking bananas are like unicorns. At this point, bananas sound fictional. Chocolate? Only on special coupons, which are rare, like treasure, but edible. Then comes evacuation. You're told you're going to the countryside. A label gets pinned to your coat. Your name, your town, your destination. You suddenly feel less like a child and more like important luggage. You board a train full of crying children. Some children are excited, some are terrified, some don't know what to feel. And honestly, nobody really understands what happens next. Arriving in the countryside is weird. Chickens roam free, horses stare at you like they know you belong in a city. Then someone shows you the toilet. It is literally a hole in the ground. This feels deeply unfair. You stare, you sit, you try not to scream. City kids are wild animals. Village kids are suspiciously clean. Village adults look at you like you might accidentally steal livestock. Even bedtime is different now. The shelter has noises, boots, murmurs, occasional laughter. But every time a plane flies over, your heart still jumps. Games still happen. Hide and seek, marbles, tag, even underground. Because children somehow refuse to cancel childhood. Some children even wrote letters home. "I ate carrots today. They were orange. I miss you." Even during war, carrots somehow became major news. Teachers often ration themselves too. Their lunches are smaller than yours, because grown-ups quietly give children more, even when pretending they don't notice. Then comes night, a bed you've never slept in before, cold air, sirens. And suddenly you wonder, is this safety, or just another version of waiting? By the end of the first week, you realize something critical. Childhood is survival plus small joys. Every smile counts. Every scrap of chocolate counts. Every whispered joke counts. And through it all, one thing becomes clear. Even 8-year-olds can become experts at wartime patience. You are learning how to wait, how to watch, how to survive, while still pretending a gas mask is kind of fun.
Level 2. The woman. You wake up before sunrise, not because you're disciplined, nope, because cues start early. Bread first, then maybe eggs if eggs actually exist today. You clutch your ration book like it's a sacred scroll. Without coupons, your money, worthless, total paperweight. Your morning, basically a live-action strategy game. How many biscuits can you snag? How many potatoes? Will the butcher have meat or just sad, chewy scraps that make you question life? Fun fact, British women were officially encouraged to wear lipstick during World War II. Why? Morale. Yes, smearing red on your face was basically a tiny rebellion against blackout curtains and bombers. Victory looks good on you. Clothes are tricky. Fabric is rationed. Extra buttons? Gone. Skirts? Shorter. Stockings? Holy relics. Rip one and you draw a fake seam line on your leg. Seriously, everyone does it. Your job? Pick a level of chaos. Office, factory, driving a London bus. Anything helping the war effort counts as national service. Some jobs are loud, oily, exhausting, but hey, camaraderie is free. Factories, adult playgrounds, if your playground had fire hazards, crushing machinery, and zero air conditioning. Safety optional, teamwork mandatory. Strangers become family if your family smells like engine oil. Lunch breaks are sacred, half practicality, half gossip. Someone always knows whose husband hasn't written, who's missing, who's alive. After work, errands. Queues everywhere. Bakery, butcher, grocer. Ration dominates vocabulary. Even picking up milk feels like a spy mission. At home, cooking equals Olympic event. Soup stretched, carrots become desserts, mock meat technically edible, every pinch of sugar or flour measured like gold. Some recipes amazing, some let's forget them. Children come first. Air raids? You wake at night, check gas masks, count heads, pray bombs miss. Shelters are social labs. Adults whisper, trade tips, judge each other's ration skills. Smells, wet wool, metal, damp concrete. Tea is life, survival, sanity. Evenings, exhaustion plus tiny rebellion. Write letters, gossip, steal a laugh. Every small moment of normalcy feels like winning the lottery. Fun fact, some women learn to drive massive trucks or operate heavy machinery, skills previously forbidden. War rewrote gender rules overnight. Secretly, you kinda love it. Night check, windows locked, blackout curtains in place, street lamps off. Peek at the sky, planes pass, sometimes, nothing happens, sometimes. Either way, sleep lightly. Life doesn't pause. You've learned patience, ingenuity, survival, and the subtle art of looking calm while your heart screams. Because being a woman in World War II, not glamorous, not safe, not easy, but somehow you still manage to laugh. Humor is what keeps you sane.
Level 3, the adult man. You're a grown man now, or at least that's what your ID says. Some days you don't feel grown at all. Mostly scared, mostly tired, mostly hungry. You either wear a uniform or you don't. If you do, congratulations, you are officially part of the war. If you don't, congratulations, you are part of the civilian army. Same battle, different front. Every morning starts with news. Newspapers, radio, word of mouth. Casualty numbers, bombings, missing friends. You glance at familiar names. Hope none match yours. Your job may be critical or not. Railway worker, miner, factory mechanic? Lucky you. You might be more useful alive at home than dead at the front, but that doesn't make anyone feel safer. Fun fact, British reserved occupations meant some men were legally prevented from enlisting because their work was too vital. Yeah, vital enough to stay alive, but also vital enough to get stared at by neighbors who enlisted. Everyone notices, everyone has an opinion, every opinion is loud. The day is a mix of normalcy and chaos. Fix engines, repair a bridge, load trucks. Every task matters, even if it doesn't feel heroic. Lunch is suspiciously quiet. Half the men whisper, the other half complain. All listen for sirens. Night is worse. Roof may survive or not. Incendiary bombs make rooftops dangerous. Some men literally stood on roofs watching for fires, with buckets. Yes, buckets, because a small fire unchecked could destroy a whole neighborhood. Sleep is light, too light. Engines, planes, explosions, they wake you instantly. Silence after a plane, even worse. Then you're listening for impact. At home, food is strange. Rationing hits everyone, but adults feel it differently. You measure tea, you measure sugar, you measure hope. Small details catch your eye. Neighbors hiding extra potatoes, butcher sneaking chicken scraps, kids smuggling candy. You file it all mentally. Might need it later. Social life? Non-existent. Every conversation can be dangerous. Careless talk cost lives wasn't just a poster, it was law. And rumor travels fast. Fun fact, even civilians sometimes left secret messages and products for soldiers or evacuees. Timey jokes carved in crates, notes tucked in loaves, proof that humanity wasn't completely lost. Evenings equals work reflection and mental exercises. Will blackout curtains hold? Checked gas mask? Responsibilities, family, neighbors, community. Sometimes strangers in shelters. Being a man during World War II isn't always heroism. It's survival, problem solving, balancing fear with action. You may curse at ration books, grumble at sirens, and secretly admire the women who juggle everything with impossible grace. At night, after checking windows, blankets, gas masks, and food, you lie down, listen, wait, dream lightly, because dreaming too deeply might get you into trouble, or at least wake you up before dawn.
Level 4,
The soldier. You wake up before dawn, not because you want to, not because the sun politely invited you, because the sergeant is already yelling like the war personally offended him. Your uniform still smells like yesterday's mud, boots covered in dirt, laces barely surviving. Nothing feels clean anymore, not even your thoughts. You check your rifle the same way every morning. Same movement, same sequence, same silence. By now, it feels less like equipment and more like ritual, because this isn't just metal. This is protection, responsibility, and on bad days, pure luck in your hands. Outside, the world is already moving, engines somewhere above, planes humming through the sky. Sometimes they drop bombs. Sometimes they just pass overhead like they're thinking about it. Either way, you check your surroundings again. Breakfast is quick. A tin of whatever the army decided counts as food today. A biscuit, tea if you're lucky. You chew slowly, not because it tastes good, because every calorie now has a job. Then the march begins. Broken roads, mud, damaged towns that no longer look like towns. Your boots sink, your shoulders burn, your pack feels heavier every hour, even though nothing inside changes. Orders come fast, sharp, clear, immediate, and you obey without hesitation, because hesitation has consequences, and sometimes those consequences have names. The enemy isn't visible, not yet. Sometimes you hear them before you see anything. Sometimes you feel them first. Water gets shared. A cigarette passed between hands like temporary peace. Stories from home return in fragments. Then gunfire. And suddenly your heart forgets rhythm. Training takes over before fear fully arrives. Hands steady, breathing controlled. You see men fall. Sometimes near enough to touch. Sometimes far enough that you can only pretend not to notice. You keep moving, because the mission keeps moving. War has terrible timing for grief. Lunch, if it happens, is cold and rushed, usually behind rubble, usually while listening more than eating. At some point, you stop asking whether it's noon, afternoon, or evening. Time out here is mostly just quiet or not quiet. Minutes stretch strangely. Silence feels suspicious. Noise feels worse. You make decisions you never trained emotionally for. A letter stays folded in your pocket, edges worn soft from rereading. You read it when nobody watches, just enough to remember there is still another version of life somewhere else. Night arrives without comfort. Lights off, voices low. Even the stars look careful tonight. Your body wants sleep. Your mind negotiates. And somewhere between exhaustion and silence, you understand something simple. You are not the storybook version of a soldier. Not dramatic, not polished, not fearless, just necessary. Tomorrow comes again. Boots on, rifle in hand. Mud again, orders again, survival again.